Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and reverence that I extend a warm welcome to all present on this momentous occasion. First and foremost, we offer our profound praise and sincere gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the infinite blessing and guidance. This morning, the Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, is privileged to host the doctoral promotion examination of the esteemed candidate Dekriati at the MPD. At this time, the organizing committee, along with the distinguished panel of examiners from the Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, will proceed to enter the examination room. Hadirin dimohon berdiri. Hadirin dipersilakan duduk kembali. May I now respectfully invite the chairperson of the session to formally open of today's examination.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and my peace and blessing be upon us all. By the grace of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and in accordance with the academic regulations of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, I hereby declare that the doctoral promotion defense session for Dekriati 80 MPD is formally open. We kindly request the Marshal to escort the doctoral candidate into the defense room. Ms. Dekriati MPD, following thorough review of your formal request for a doctoral promotion and having verified that all academic requirements have been duly fulfilled, the Doctoral Defense Committee of the Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia has granted approval for you to proceed with this doctoral promotion defense. Today, on Monday, June 15, 2026, the committee will examine and evaluate your dissertations, which is entitled Students' Mathematical Reasoning and Mathematical Communication Abilities and Metacognitive Discursive Activity in Junior High School Mathematics Learning. We now ask you, are you ready to proceed with your doctoral defense?
Yes, I am ready, Prof.
Before we proceed to your presentations, we invite the promoter to deliver his academic remarks and evaluation of your dissertations. The time allocated for this is approximately about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Academic accountability statement for Dekriati Bandung, 15 June 2026. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Chair of the Examination Committee, Co-Supervisor, and distinguished examiners of the Doctoral Promotion Examination, with praise and gratitude to God Almighty for blessing and grace, on behalf of the Supervising Committee we would like to present an academic accountability statement for the thesis of the doctorate candidate Dekriati entitled Students' Mathematical Reasoning and Mathematical Communication Abilities and Metacognitive Discursive Activities in Junior High School Mathematics Learning. This doctoral promotion examination is part of the overall requirements for the completion of dissertation, which was carried out in the study program of Mathematics Education, Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Based on the academic requirements and processes that have been fulfilled, the supervisor team has decided to propose the doctorate candidate to the assembly of this open examination. Before presenting the academic accountability statements, we would like to provide a little bit a brief overview of the doctoral candidate's background. Dekriati was born in Waikabubak, Southwest Sumba Regency, East Nusa Tenggara, on December 3, 1989. The doctoral candidate is the daughter of Bapak Bonu Ate and Ibu Paulina Betty, and the third child of 4 children. On August 2, 2018, the doctoral candidate married Solomon Pote, Sarjana Teknik, and they have been blessed with 2 daughters. They are Elizabeth Pote and Hildegard Pote. And the doctoral candidate completed primary education at SD Masehi Mondomia in 2001, SMP Negeri 4 Wewewa Timur in 2004, and SMA Katolik Santo Thomas Aquinas in 2007. The doctoral candidate then completed bachelor's degree in Mathematics Study Program at Universitas Nusa Cendana in 2011 and Master Degree in Mathematics Education in the Study Program of Mathematics Education, Surabaya Sriwijaya University in 2017. In the 2022-2023 academic year, the doctoral candidate, Dekriati, started doctoral studies in the study program of Mathematics Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, with support from the LPDP, or Lembaga Pengelola Dana Pendidikan Scholarship. And before starting doctoral studies, the doctoral candidate worked as a lecturer in program studi Pendidikan Matematika, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, Universitas Katolik Witebula, Sumba Barat, Nusa Tenggara Timur. As part of the doctoral candidate's academic commitment and contribution to mathematics education, during doctoral studies, the doctoral candidate has produced several scholarly works, including an article published in the Eurasia Proceeding in the Journal on Mathematics Education, indexed by Scopus in 2025, and then an article published in the Eurasia Proceedings of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, indexed by Scopus in 2024. In addition, the doctoral candidate, Dekriati, received an award to participate in and present at the 14th International Congress on Mathematical Education, ICME 14, in 2024 in Sydney, Australia. She also participated as a presenter in the following international scientific forums: International Conference on Education and Technology, ICONTEC, in 2024 and International Conference on Research in Education and Technology ICRET in 2026. The urgency of this study lies in the fact that mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication are very important abilities that students need in order to solve problems logically, draw appropriate conclusions, and communicate ideas in ways that can be understood by others. However, findings from previous studies and preliminary study show that this ability are very low, very poor. To address this issue, several studies have highlighted the importance of metacognitive activities. Nevertheless, the study have primarily focused on improving students' abilities as outcomes of metacognition-based learning, while the process through which such activity emerges and develops during learning has not yet been explained. In learning, metacognitive activities do not always emerge as students' internal reflection or as a response to specially designed tasks, but they can also occur through interaction during classroom discussions. In this context, metacognitive activities alone do not automatically lead to precise and coherent ideas. Instead, they require discursive activities that enable ideas developed in discussion to become more precise and coherent. Accordingly, the development of mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication should not examine only in relation to metacognitive activities, but also in relation to discursive activities. Therefore, the study in mathematics learning and how they relate to the development of students' mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication. Using a qualitative approach with a naturalistic multiple case study design and the use of the category system of metacognitive discursive activities, CSMDA, and the rating system for metacognitive discursive quality, RSMDQ, the study is expected to contribute both theoretically and practically. Theoretically, the study highlights that the presence of metacognitive activities alone is sufficient to support the development of students' mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication abilities. These activities need to be supported discursively through students' contribution that are responded to and further developed during classroom discussion. Practically, the findings of the study imply that mathematics learning should create opportunities to students to explain, reflect on, evaluate, and develop mathematical ideas so that metacognitive discursive activities can develop and support the development of mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication abilities. Based on the literature review and reflection throughout the supervision process, many studies have examined mathematical reasoning ability, mathematical communication ability, and metacognitive activities in mathematics learning. However, studies that specifically examine the relationship between mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication through metacognitive discursive activities in mathematics learning are very limited. Methodologically, the study uses a qualitative approach with a naturalistic multiple case design and uses the category system for metacognitive discursive activities and a rating system for metacognitive discursive quality to analyze how metacognitive discursive activities develop in mathematics learning and how these activities relate to student mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication. Through this approach and the research outputs published in reputable journal, the study demonstrates a high level of originality and makes significant scholarly contributions to mathematics education by providing a deeper understanding of the relationship between mathematical reasoning, mathematical communication, and metacognitive discursive activities. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Chair of the Doctoral Promotion Examination, distinguished examiners, and the members of the open examination session, based on the points that have been presented, the Supervisor Committee consider that this thesis meets the academic requirements to proceed in this open examination. The Supervisor Committee respectfully submits the thesis to the session for evaluation and assessment. The final decision will be accepted in accordance with applicable academic ethics and standards. On behalf of the Supervisory Committee, we would like to express our sincere appreciation for the honor and trust given to us to supervise the doctoral candidate. We also hope that this thesis will provide meaningful contribution and benefits, particularly for the doctoral candidates and the study program of Mathematics Education, Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Bandung, 15 June 2026, Supervisor Team Jaya S. Kusuma, Professor Dr. Elmar Kohorst-Prisonborg from Germany, and Professor Dr. Ella Nurlaylah, MSc. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We sincerely thank the promoter for the insightful remarks regarding the candidate's research and dissertations. We now invite the doctoral candidate, Dekriati Ate, MPD, to deliver a concise presentation of her dissertations. The time allocated is approximately 10 minutes.
Thank you, Prof. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for attending my thesis defense today. It is a great honor for me to present my thesis entitled Students' Mathematical Reasoning and Mathematical Communication Abilities and Metacognitive Discursive Activities in Junior High School's Mathematics Learning. The background of the study begins with the purpose of learning mathematics, particularly mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication abilities. These two abilities are important because students need in order to solve problems logically, draw appropriate conclusion, and communicate their ideas so that it can be understood by others. However, in a reality, mathematical reasoning and communication abilities are very pure. And some studies have highlighted that if there is a metacognitive activities, then it will improve students' mathematical reasoning and communication abilities. However, they haven't explained how these metacognitive activities in the learning process unfolds. As a solution here, I use the term of metacognitive discursive activity. It is an activity of thinking about one's own and others' thinking, expressed in classroom discussions, and how these activities contribute to the development of mathematical reasoning and mathematical communications abilities. Based on that background, I formulate 5 research questions. First, how is the mathematical reasoning ability of junior high school students generally described? Second, how is the mathematical communication ability of junior school students generally described? Third, how are metacognitive discursive activities manifest in mathematics learning? Fourth, how is students' mathematical reasoning ability related to metacognitive discursive activity? And fifth, how is students' mathematical communication ability related to metacognitive discursive activities? The theoretical framework. Mathematical reasoning ability is the ability to perform mathematical manipulation, identify patterns in mathematical situations to make generalizations, and evaluate the validity of mathematical statements. This operational definition based of operationalization by reasoning activities, structural aspect of reasoning, and some prior studies. The operational definition of mathematical communication ability is the ability to connect situations or representations to mathematical ideas and express mathematical ideas in written or visual form. It is based on communication standard and some prior studies. Metacognitive discursive activity is activities of planning, monitoring, and reflection in classroom discussions reflected in contributions that support or hinder coherence and precision. It is based on course Rosenberg and Kaune, 2007, and Novinska. The methodology. I use a qualitative, and the design is a naturalistic multiple case study. The participant is 7th grade students and 7th grade mathematics teachers. The data is video and pre-test, post-test. The analysis procedures consist of 3 stages of analysis. The first stage consists of 4 steps, and the first step is classroom videos are transcribed. Second, each contribution is coded by using category system for metacognitive discursive activities, and codes are justified. And as an output of the program is there will be a category line. It is a visual representation of students' contribution sections. This is the first stage of analysis, and the second stage is that I evaluate the overall quality of metacognitive discursive activities by using rating system for metacognitive discursive quality. And the last stage is I'm doing an interpretative analysis with the goal is to understand how metacognitive discursive activities contribute to students' mathematical reasoning and communication abilities. Findings. In a case A, students' mathematical reasoning ability show little or no change across tests. It is also the same as a mathematical communication abilities. It is so little or no change across tests. And the analysis of first video classroom, we see here that there are metacognitive activity with the code DR4 and so on, and it is most of the lessons consist of negative discursive activities. Over some times, I analyze second video classroom, and the pattern is still the same as the first video classroom, which consists of negative discursivity. And the effect of that is the quality of metacognitive discursive activities is low across almost all measures dimensions. And now, why do students show little or no change in mathematical reasoning and communication abilities? First, from the category line, we will see that students' responses are brief and often chorally produced. Second, opportunities to explain, justify, and represent the idea are very limited. Third, classroom interaction is teacher-dominated with minimal students' contributions. And the effect of that is the quality of metacognitive discursive activities are very pure. And now in a case B, students' mathematical reasoning ability show a tendency of positive change as indicated by higher score on the post-test than on the pre-test. It is the same also with the mathematical communication abilities. It is show a tendency of positive change as indicated by higher score on the post-test than on the pre-test. Now we are looking what is actually happened in the learning process. So in the first video classroom, we will see that there is a code with metacognitive, discursive, there is a monitoring, and only a few of negative discursivity. And over some times, I analyzed the second video classroom, and we'll see here that there is a much better than the first one. The students even can communicate with others, sometimes without teachers' interventions. So the effect of that is that the quality of metacognitive discursive activities develops to a higher level across all measures dimensions. And now, why do students show change and in mathematical reasoning and communication abilities? First, teachers have a role that the students must explain how answers are obtained. The second, checking correctness and inviting peer feedback. And over sometimes, the students even can do that on their own without teachers' interventions. It is supported by some empirical support from prior research. Metacognitive activity in mathematics learning is associated with higher mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication abilities. However, the difference with mine is that metacognitive activities alone isn't enough. It must be embedded together with discursive activity. The conclusion, mathematical reasoning ability show change and no change. The second, mathematical communication ability show change and no change. Metacognitive discursive activity vary from limited to more developed. Reasoning, the relationship between reasoning and communication and metacognitive discursive activities. Case with limited metacognitive discursive activities and dominant negative discursive activities tended to show little change in students' mathematical reasoning and also communication ability. Case with more developed metacognitive discursive activities and seldom negative discursive activity tended to show change in students' mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication ability. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the session of questions, rebuttals, and academic discourse. Each examiner will be allotted approximately 10 minutes, which includes both questions and answers. We now invite the members of the examination committee as follows. The first one, we invite the examiner 1, Professor Krista Kauni. Professor Krista Kauni, the time is yours for about 10 minutes.
Prof. Kaune, I can't listen to you. Sorry.
Your voice is not
The following.
Good morning, Professor. Sorry, your voice is not here. Hello? Have you opened your mic? Unmute, Prof. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Could you hear our voice, Professor? Yeah, but your voice is not clear yet.
you have to unlock your microphone on the bottom of the screen. There is...
The operator, probably could you help Professor Christel Kaune? Could you open your mic below your screen? There is mic. Please unmute it. Okay. Yeah.
Frau Kaune, konnten Sie wieder ich meinte, konnten Sie weg von Zoom und dann konnten Sie wieder in Link Zoom kommen? Just einfach weg? Ja, und versuchen Sie auch das wieder.
Ya, nggak tahu. Nggak bisa dari sini dibukanya. Nggak tahu. Coba.
Beliau juga tadi coba nggak ada masalah, tapi aku udah minta dia keluar dulu dan masuk. Udah. Ayo udah. Konnten Sie jetzt versuchen? Ich kann Sie nicht hören, Frau Kaune.
Können Sie mich jetzt hören?
Yeah,
Yeah.
your voice is clear.
Perfect. Oh, thanks. Sorry. Dekriati, can we start?
Yes.
Okay. First, thanks for your presentation. Due to the short time phase, from 10 minutes, my question relate only to one topic, and the concepts of metacognition and discursivity. If you don't understand my question, please let us know it straight away. Dekriati, you break down the concept metacognition into these three components: planning, monitoring, and reflection. Which is the most important component for effective teaching?
Okay, Prof. Kaune, your question is about that metacognitive activities consist of planning, monitoring, and reflection, and where is the most effective activities? Is it correct?
Yes, it's correct. It's right.
So I think all of them are important. Planning, monitoring, and reflection. For example, if the students would like to working with an exercise first, or in the learning process, for example, we see the analysis of a second classroom learning, that we see that the teacher started with the planning and then asking the students how they obtain their answer, and later on they can do even monitoring and reflection. So for me, in my opinion, these three components are important. And the most effective is that first reflection and then monitoring.
Okay. I will come back to the category lines you showed us in your presentation. I noticed at the category lines related to School A, there is no planning to find.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. On the other hand, at the category line related to School B, you can find planning both on first visit and on the second visit. And otherwise, you can find 7 different categories of reflection and 5 categories of monitoring. If I make the conclusion from this that planning doesn't seem to be important, would you agree with me?
I think sorry, I did not agree with you. For me, planning is still important here, especially from the teacher. For the beginners in Anfang, I think, for example, the first video classroom, we'll see that the teacher started with something with planning, and then in the next lessons, the teacher also starting with the planning. So I think the planning is important. But then we can also skip, for example, over sometimes we see that in the category line, we see that, for example, here, okay, I show you a category line from the case B. Here we see that the teachers are started with the planning, asking something for the students, and then in the second video classroom also the teacher starting with the planning. And if I see this category line, I think we can also skip the planning. For example, here, over sometimes you can see that the box with the red line, the students even can do on their own without teacher's intervention. So here, without planning and so on from the teacher asking for doing something, they even can do it on their own. So now my answer to that question is we can also skip the planning.
Okay, thank you. Ibu Dekri, let's suppose I'm asking you as a mathematics teacher. From now on, starting tomorrow, I wish to improve my students' performance. How can I improve my teaching in such a way that students engage in more metacognitive activities? It certainly doesn't sound right when I say in class, students practice metacognition.
Okay.
What should I do?
Could you just repeat your question, Prof? It is about...
Yes.
Could you just repeat it, please?
Yes. Please imagine I'm asking you as a mathematics teacher,
Okay.
not as a prof.
Okay.
From now on, starting, I wish to improve my students' performance.
Okay.
How can I improve my teaching in such a way that students engage in more metacognitive activities?
Okay.
What should I do?
Yes, I understood your question. Thank you. Here, how can I improve my learning process or the quality of the learning process so it can contribute to the development of mathematical reasoning and communication abilities of students. So here, I'm going back to the category line. What can we do is that, for example, in a case B here, what can we do is, first, the discursive activities is important. The teachers must ask the students to explain how they obtain their answer, they must also she must also, or the teacher must also give a chance to the pupils to explain how they got their answers individually, and then over time the students even can do it on their own. But now we see in a case A, it's quite different. Here the students, here the teacher. So you see here the teacher, there is some code with negative discursivity. Here, the teacher asking something, for example, suggestive questions, and giving, and the answer is already sometimes already stated in that question. And the students answer it in chorus, and the teacher doesn't make an intervention when the students answer it in chorus. So what is how can I improve the mathematical reasoning and communication ability? For me, it is important that to distinguish between discursive and discursive negative.
Okay. Is it right? I didn't need any new materials.
New materials is also important here, but I think I haven't examined it in my thesis. However, if I look on the learning process, for example, in case A and a case B, so the learning materials that they use in a case B or any school is different with the school A. So in the school B, for example, the students, the teacher have a role that the students, for example, must explain how they obtain their answer, give a reasoning, and so on. But then how can they do it? It is also depends on the learning materials.
Okay. Ibu Diki, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Professor Krista Kaune, for your questions and academic discourse to our Promovenda. Now we invite the examiner 2 as internal examiner, Professor Suhendra, PhD, to deliver questions and academic discourse. Professor Suhendra, 10 minutes is your time.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for Al-Jupri as the chairperson of this event for the opportunity given to me as internal examiner to ask question, request confirmation, or dispute the substance of the dissertation of Promovenda, Mrs. Dekriati Ate. Nice to meet you again, Prof. Yaya Sukjaya as supervisor, Prof. Ella Nurlayala and Prof. Elmar Cohorts as co-supervisor, and Prof. Krista Kaune as external examiner. Guten Morgen, Deutschland. Guten Tag, Indonesia. Ich hoffe, es geht euch allen gut und ihr seid gesund und glücklich. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Promovenda, Mrs. Dekriati Ate, who has today reached the doctoral promotion examination. This is a special achievement that is not easy to achieve. The success, of course, is a certainty, the result of your hard work and the support of many parties. Your three supervisors, Prof. Yaya, Prof. Cohorts, and Prof. Ella, and in question, I would like to congratulate to the supervisor who has led you to this stage of your study. Furthermore, I would like to congratulate your beloved parent, Bapak, selamat datang di Bandung, your husband, your children and relatives, as well as your college at your institution, Universitas Katolik Witebula, Sumba, on this great achievement. May it be beneficial for all. Since this afternoon is a doctoral promotion examination, the question, objection, and request for confirmation that I will convey to you will guide you in promoting you as a doctoral candidate in front of the audience so that they are convinced that you are worthy of being a doctor. I prepared more than 20 questions. What kind of question you like? The simple pass, the simple question, or the complicated question? Complicated?
Simple question.
Simple question, okay. Let's start with the first question. What is concerning research question? What is the relationship among student mathematical reasoning and mathematical communication, and also metacognitive discursive activities? Can you clarify more the relationship among them?
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Your question is related to what is the relationship between mathematical reasoning and communication,
Yes,
and metacognitive discursive
yes.
activities. So here I started with mathematical reasoning. So it is consists of 3 indicators. Students doing manipulations. The second one is evaluate the validity of statement, mathematical statement, and the third is they are doing generalization by using the rules. So the relationship between mathematical reasoning and metacognitive discursive activities. So here the mathematical reasoning, the students' mathematical reasoning show chains. It has a relation with metacognitive discursive activities. So in a learning process, we will see here that the students, for example, they give a reasoning. When they would like to explain their answer, they give a reasoning, and then the other students can also ask the question, give a reasoning, and over sometimes in the category line, we'll see that the students even can do it on their own without teacher intervention. They give question, they ask for reasoning, and they just practice that reasoning in the learning process. It is now also the same with the communications abilities. Here the students try to communicate with their peers, with the teacher. If there is something that's missing, then they will ask their peers or the teacher. So there is a relation between.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the second one, concerning mathematical reasoning. My question is, how did student perform mathematical manipulations, constructing models, making analogies, and generalizing?
Okay.
Can you get my question?
Yes, how do they perform mathematical manipulation?
Yeah, once again, how did students perform mathematical manipulations, constructing models, making analogies, and generalizing?
Okay, so that is from the indicator, yeah. So I see this by giving a test for them, and there is a indicator that related to test. So I think I'll show you one example. For example, how wait. Okay. For example, here I explain only one indicator. It is about how the students check the error of this calculation. So it is a part of a second indicator of mathematical reasoning. So at the pre-test, first we see that the students can work on these exercises. They just underline whatever here, and then then I analyze the learning process, and then for 2 times, and in the post-test, we could see that the students can work on these exercises. So this exercise is only about that they have to underline where is the wrong one, and then they even can do it, can write a new calculation here, write the right answers here, even in the exercise is not asking to do so. So I mean here, it is an example of the effect of practicing and monitoring metacognitive activities here that the students practices in the learning process.
Okay, clear enough? Okay. Thank you. Let's move to the third regarding mathematical communication. What learning obstacles did students experience when communicating problem solution concerning poor competence, fear of making mistake, or not understanding the concept?
Okay. Pure communications, yeah? So I think I'll show again the category line. To answer this question, I will show again the category line.
Concerning learning obstacle, I mean?
Yes, learning obstacle.
Yes.
So for example here, in the category line here, one of the learning obstacle is that I think, first if I say that this is from the teacher, the teacher doesn't train the students to communicate their idea individually. So the main findings of this research is that students answer the question from the teacher in choral.
Orally or in writing?
Yes, orally.
Orally,
yeah.
okay.
And then there is no intervention from the teacher. I mean intervention here that this teacher asks the student, how do you get your answer? Could you explain how do you get that, and so on. So I think the learning obstacle lies on the, if I could say, one of the learning obstacle is the didactical contract from the teachers. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Concerning metacognitive discursive, what obstacles did teacher and student at the same time face in implementing metacognitive discursive activities related to time constraint, classroom culture, or the teacher ability to ask question?
Okay. So it is related to first culture and also what else?
Obstacle did teacher and student face?
Face, yes. From the two cases, case A and B, or for example, I saw again the screen here. Okay, what is the obstacle? If I see from this category line, the obstacle lies on these negative discursive activities. There are many discursive negative many negative discursivity in this case A, but it differs with the case B. Okay. So it lies on the culture or the how I named it? The didactical contract.
Can you conclude of both classroom?
Both classroom. So here, from the both classroom, I think there is a different didactical contract.
Yes.
Here, at the case A, for example, the teacher dominated.
Okay.
Yeah, asked many questions, and sometimes he or she answered that question on their own and doesn't give a chance to the students to explain their answer. But it differs in a case B. For example, here the teacher started with a planning, and then over sometimes the students can do it on their own without teacher's intervention.
That's the obstacle, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Concerning the relationship between the variable, which variable had the most dominant influence? I repeat, which variable had the most dominant influence? Metacognitive to reasoning or metacognitive to communication? Which one?
Which one? Metacognitive to reasoning or metacognitive to communication?
Yes.
I think if I see in the category line, reasoning, mathematical reasoning is...
Why?
Yeah, because we see, again, from the category line that the students, reasoning and communication both, I think, but I see here for example, in a case B, that the students to actively give a reason, and then when they communicate with their peers or the teacher, they also give a reason. Yeah, in this reasoning, they also communicate it. So I think both of it.
Compared between two, which one is much?
Much better.
Yes.
Reasoning.
Reasoning,
In an
okay.
indicator of manipulation.
Okay, thank you. One more question? No?
Yes.
No? Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank
I
you,
return
Prof.
to Prof. Jupri. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Suhendra, for the questions and discussions. Now, we invite the examiner 3, which is also a co-promoter, Professor Dr. Elmar Kohors, Fressenborg, for posing and deliver questions and rebuttals or academic discourse. Professor Elmar, the time is yours. Apologies, your voice is not here yet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Your voice still.
I have the same. There is a line.
Okay.
Yes, your voice is clear now. No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, thank you very much for inviting me. My colleagues asking before presented you questions, and they have all the same direction. What can I do to change the situation? Or if I would like to change my teaching tomorrow, what can I do? And your answer was a little bit, let me say, hidden. And therefore I would ask you a little bit more precise in the following direction. The problem is, you said they need a didactical contract. For the audience, I may explain, for example, an individual student has to feel to be responsible and not being a member in a chorus. Now, what can you do so that first the teachers see that they are unable to understand the problem they have? From my opinion, it is they do not know what to change. It is a matter of, let me say, education. Now, I hope that I have explained in which direction you may choose your answer.
Okay. First, a teacher, they are unable to understand. For example, in a case A, that the students give answer in chorus, and it's different when in a case B, where the students individually individually answer the question, individually explain how they obtain their answer. And then here what is the important is the teacher must know about the discursive activities. It is an activity that support the coherence and precision of discussions. And the second one, they must also recognize the discursive negative. It is an activity that hinder the support and precise of discussions. That's all my answer for the first questions.
Yes, may I come back? If you would tell us, let me say, a measure to change this. There could be a possibility, for example, from your scientific thesis, you have a transcript, and now you show the teacher that they are not able to see the obstacles.
So what can I do here? For example, from my transcript, or for example, from the case, or in the case A or B, here, what can I do is that I will give an transcript, but here without code and justification. And then the teachers must practice to give a code by using a category system for metacognitive discursive activities, and then the teacher must justify why they choose the code. So the solution is giving only the transcript without code and justification. And I believe that later on the teacher will know that where is the problem, what is the missing in the classroom, what is already good, and so on.
How you said later they will know?
Yes, I mean here.
That in the beginning there is something very strange.
Okay.
Before later starts.
So I mean here later, after they are doing an analysis, after they giving a code and justification, then they will realize that they have a problem in a lessons, or they have no problem in a learning process. So after they're just giving a code and justification, then they will see whether there's a problem or no problem.
And in the beginning, are they able to give a code?
Not yet. They cannot give a code in the beginning. They must learn, for example, how to know the meaning of its code.
Yeah.
And if they read the transcript, I think they will have a difficulties to give a code, because the code is too difficult. For example, monitoring itself, it consists of 8 or 9 category, and it is difficult to make a difference between each code. So they need, for example, doing a validation or asking an expert, or to know which code that are fit to the utterance.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Elmars, for your questions and discussions. Now we invite the examiner 4, which is a crop promoter, Professor Dr. Elah Nurlaila, to deliver questions and discussions.
Thank you, Prof. Al-Jufri, as the chairperson of today's doctoral defense. Good afternoon to all audience in this room, and good morning to Prof. Dr. Elmar Kohor, Present and Professor Krista Kaunian, Chairman. Congratulations to Bu Dekriati Ate, who will be taking her doctoral defense today. And Hopefully, in the next few minutes, she will achieve her doctoral in mathematics education. This is certainly special moment for you and as well as for para pejuang doktor ya, who attend today would to achieve soon. Berharap ya, mudah-mudahan segera. Now I will ask some question buat Teh, even though I am in the position of your supervisor. In this research, you conducted an in-depth analysis of video lessons. What instruments were used? Were these instruments different from those commonly used by others? What ensures that the instruments used are valid and reliable for analyzing the videos? It is my first question, please.
Thank you, Prof. What kind of instrument that I use for analyze the learning video? So here I use a category system for metacognitive discursive activities. It is consist of some categories, namely planning, monitoring, reflection, discursive, and negative discursive. And then the second stage of analysis is rating system for metacognitive discursive quality. So I use the result from the rating from the first stage from category system for meta to evaluate the overall quality of metacognitive discursive activities.
What is different with the other instrument?
Okay.
Maybe which used by the others.
Okay. The difference with the other instrument here, if I see, for example, studies from Novinska, she said that the difference from the other instrument is the other instrument is only see on the surface levels. Surface level means here they only if there is a transcript of learning process where there is a verbal contribution of teacher or students, then they only see there is a metacognitive activity, there is a reflection, monitoring, but they haven't seen whether they haven't see or they haven't examined the discursive activities. It means that they haven't going into the deep to analyze, to doing a deep analysis to see whether the contribution of the students are precise, coherent, or it is fit to the teacher's question, or it is fit to the student's question, and so on. So the discursive activities is so important.
And you report in the CL category lines.
Yes.
Right? Okay. The second question, my second question. Do you think your research different from conducted by others?
Yes.
With the special, the innovation of your research?
Yeah, the innovation of my research is that metacognitive alone isn't enough. It needs a discursive activity so that it can contribute to the students' mathematical reasoning and communication abilities. So some studies have only seen metacognitive activities, and mine is that metacognitive activities alone isn't enough. It needs a discursive activities.
Okay, thank you. Based on the result of your observation of learning videos from two schools,
okay.
How should learning activities to be conducted to optimally develop mathematical reasoning and communication skills?
How? Could you repeat the questions?
How should learning activities be conducted to be optimal, develop mathematical reasoning and mathematical skill, communication skill?
How should learning activity to be conducted? Yeah, for example here, so it can develop mathematical reasoning and communication. So here, I think we can use, we can see the result of learning process from school B. So here, the teacher must give a chance. First, like a contract didactic, have a rule that if the students would like to explain or to present their answer, they must explain how they obtained their answer. They must give a reasoning, and then after that, we hope that the students can do it on their own. So it is showed in case B, where for the first time the students really depends on the teachers, and here the teacher is really consistent to tell the students that please, if you want to answer the question, raise your hand first so they can think individually. And next, please give an explanation or reasoning how you obtain your answers. And over sometimes, the students can do it on their own.
So, what the most important to support the greatest role in fostering metacognitive discursive activity, teacher professionalism, student gender, teaching learning media, textbook, or the school environment? Which one the most important to support the activities of metacognitive and discursive, in your opinion?
Yes, first I think learning materials.
Learning
Yeah,
materials.
learning materials. If you see the transcript from this case B and case A, it's so different. And the second one is the RPP, lesson plan of the teacher. Yes.
But the professional of
Yes, professional also.
teacher
Yes.
professional.
Yes.
Okay. Back to your result on the video analysis. There are two classes, right?
Okay.
Class
Yes.
A and Class B.
Yes.
And our activity in Class A and Class B is rather different.
Yes.
And when I analyze, because there are the sum of the student in two classes is the same, it's 18, but in Class A there are 13 female, 6 female and 12 male students in Class A.
Okay.
And in Class B, there are 13 female and 5 male in
Okay.
Class B.
Yeah.
And the result in Class B is more better than in Class A, right?
Yes.
In your opinion, does gender influence metacognitive discursive? Do you analyze about that?
To be honest, I haven't analyzed about the gender, but if we see, for example, you are correct that in a case B, there are more female than male. So I don't know whether it is also as an effect of the learning process.
Maybe when you saw the video,
Yes.
the woman more active than the male.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. Okay, the last question, the final question. What can this research contribute to improving the classroom learning process?
What can the teacher?
What can this research contribute to improving the classroom learning process?
Okay, what is the contribution of my research?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, Prof. So the contribution of my research is theoretically metacognitive activities alone is insufficient. It needs a discursive activities. So students' mathematical reasoning and communication abilities is developed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My questions are done. Thank you, Prof. Al-Jufri. I return to Prof. Al-Jufri.
Thank you, Prof. Ella, for questions and discussions. Now we invite the promoter, Professor Yaya Sukjaya PhD, to deliver questions and discussion. Professor Yaya, the time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dekriati. So you come to this session. And there are some questions that I would like to give to you. Although there are many questions that have been raised by the other examiners, I think there are some other questions remains. Okay, the first question is, I just would like to know what kind of situation or circumstances that encourage you to do this type of research. Your research is about metacognitive discursive activities combined with mathematical reasoning and communication abilities. So I would like to know the situation or the course you do this research, because this is a little bit different from the other research conducted in our department.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Encourage. What circumstance that encouraged me to do this kind of research, because it's quite different with the others. So here I'm starting with the aim of the purpose of learning mathematics is mathematical reasoning and communication abilities, because it is important so that students can communicate their ideas effectively, solve problems logically, draw appropriate solutions. And then, however, in reality, these two skills are very pure, and also I do some preliminary studies, and it shows that these two abilities are very pure. And some studies have highlighted that if there is a metacognitive activities, then it will improve students' mathematical reasoning abilities. And I see here that there is a still gap in this research. First, they haven't explained what is actually happening in the learning process, how these metacognitive activities appear or manifest in the learning process. So to see this, I use discursive activity together with metacognitive activities to see whether it contributes to the development of mathematical reasoning or communications abilities of students.
Okay, thank you. When we are talking about metacognitive and discursive activities, I think we can go back to the meaning of the word metacognitive itself. Metacognitive is kind of cognitive about cognitive, thinking about thinking. So when we are thinking about what we are thinking, then I think it's kind of metacognitive. But of course it is related to mathematical thinking or reasoning, let's say, reasoning abilities. In this situation, then, we can come to an idea that the result of the teaching and learning process will much depend on some factors. So whether metacognitive or discursive activities is successful in our teaching and learning process, I think there are many factors. For example, the input or the students' ability on mathematics. Let's say they have mathematical prior knowledge, kemampuan awal matematis. I think it gives a great influence to the students' result of learning or their achievement on mathematics. The other thing is that their learning experience before we come to the classroom, they have their own different learning experience. And I think it is also influence the result of the teaching and learning process. So what kind of influence do you think which gives great contribution to the mathematical reasoning and communication abilities of the students?
Yeah, you have mentioned that there are some factors. First, kemampuan awal siswa, and the second is about learning experience. And if I'm going back to the data that I have in my thesis, so we see that first, the students' initial ability, kemampuan awal siswa, between these two schools is different. So, I think in a school B, it's much more better than in school A. And then, except of kemampuan awal siswa, the learning experience also. For example, from the teacher in school B, I think she's much better than in a school A. So if you remember the category line, the teacher give a chance to the students to explain their answer individually and so on, but it differs with the teacher in a school way. So what is the most influence, if you ask me, so maybe kemampuan al siswa is the first, and the second also learning experience of the teacher.
Thank you. Come back to the logical thinking on mathematics. In reasoning, we need logical. So it depends also on the student's ability on logic.
Okay.
If their ability in logical thinking is very poor, then I think it will also influence their reasoning ability. So, what do you find in your research? Did you see that they were lack on logical thinking? When you come up with the case B, I know that in case B or in the second case, yes, actually they are very good in metacognitive and discursive activities. Yes. But somehow maybe there are some situations where they still have some problems in logical thinking.
Yes.
Do they still have this kind of problems in logical thinking?
In case B?
In case B?
Yes, from the I think from the first analysis of the video, we could see that there is a problem in logical thinking, and also in the second video classrooms. So here we see that sometimes the people have difficulties to explain how they obtain their answer, for example, by using associative law or communication, or commutative, but here the teacher or other students help them to explain the difficulties of the students.
Okay, the other thing is about teachers' competency in teaching and learning process. So when they would like to give intervention to the students, of course, they have to think about students' logical thinking as well.
Okay.
Let's say, I give you an example. When the students would like to give a clarification or a justification, of course, they need a kind of criteria or rules which are on logic. Let's say, conditional statement, pernyataan kondisional. May I give you an example like this? If I pass the exam, then I will invite you to come to a cinema. Kalau saya lulus ujian, Anda akan saya ajak nonton bioskop. When I pass the exam, I will invite you to come to a cinema. Ini nonton bioskop ya, bukan nonton film ya. Agak beda. Nonton bioskop semalam bisa 5 kali. Lihat bioskop, bioskop lagi. That's watching a cinema ya. Okay, let's say I'm watching cinema or watching a movie. And then there are some students, if you say that if you pass the exam, then I will be invited to come to a cinema, then I can conclude, well, if you don't pass the exam, then I will not be invited to come to a cinema. Kalau Anda lulus ujian, Anda akan menraktir saya nonton bioskop. Artinya kan, jika Anda tidak lulus ujian, if you do not pass the exam, if you don't pass the exam, kalau Anda tidak lulus ujian, berarti Anda tidak akan menraktir saya nonton bioskop dong. Okay, that's kind of clarification or let's say justification. What do you think? Is it correct? If the first statement is correct, can I say that the second one is also correct or it is not correct?
Okay. If the first statement is correct, then the second statement is not correct. I think if I pass the exam, then I'll invite you to the cinema. And then you say that the second statement is about if I am not passing this exam, then I want to invite you to the cinema. I think to prove this, whether this is the second statement correct, we will use, for example, the truth table, tabel kebenaran, here to prove whether the second statement is correct or wrong. And in my opinion, the second statement are wrong, salah. It must be, if I did not invite you to the cinema, then you don't pass the exam. So we prove it with, for example, by using a truth table.
Okay, when you are given a statement, if A and B, if A and B, A implies B, jika A maka B. So, what do you think about your students in case B? This is just our imagination. Do you think that they will be able to say that, oh, it is wrong? If you said that if it is not A, then it is not B. Can you imagine that they will be able to say so?
Yes, I think.
Okay, so it means that they have a good reasoning skills then.
Yes.
So it means that their learning experience and their background on logical skills influence so much to their reasoning and communication skills. Okay, I think it's too long for me. If I go on with another question, also there are some more questions, but I think I should stop here. Thank you. Back to our chairman.
Thank you very much, Professor Yaya Sudaikusuma, for questions and discussions. As the chairperson, I will not take the opportunity to pose questions or deliver remarks. With the completion of the questions and answer sessions, the doctoral defense session will now be temporarily adjourned to allow the committee to deliberate and conclude assessment of the doctoral candidate performance. We kindly request the marshal to escort the candidate to the waiting area.
Foto itu lucu, bagus. Ini foto itu. Tapi bagus. Ya tidak sama.
Karena 4 tahun ya, bukan 3 tahun.
Because this is the special moment. Aku sakit deh kayaknya.
Ya.
Minumnya kayak anak, ada esnya. Tapi ada pendek agak. Iya, temennya katanya.
The doctoral defense sessions is hereby resumed. We request the Marshal to escort the doctoral candidate back into the session room. Ms. Dekriati Ate, MPD, after carefully evaluating your dissertations and the proceeding of today's defense, the Doctoral Committee of the Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, has come to a unanimous decision. You have successfully defended your dissertations and met all academic requirements. Therefore, we hereby confer upon you the academic title, a Doctor of Education in the field of Mathematics Education, having successfully completed your studies with very satisfactory academic record. Dr. Dekriati Ate, MPD, on behalf of the Doctoral Defense Committee and the Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, we extend our heartfelt congratulations. It is now my honor to present you with the official certificate of graduation, which formally confirms your achievement. Please accept our sincere congratulations. We now invite the promoter or the representative to deliver a closing message or academic advice for approximately 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone inside this building, and good morning to Professor Elmar Kohorst, Presenborg, and Professor Christa Kaun in Germany. Distinguished Chair of the Doctoral Open Examination, esteemed examiners, both internal and external, respected promoters, honorable guests, my fellow students, and the beloved family of our doctoral candidates, Dekriati Ate. Today we have witnessed doctoral students presenting and defending her dissertation in this open examination. The topic has brought forward about mathematical reasoning and communication skills within metacognitive discursive activities is both profound and inspiring, reflecting the depth of her scholarly journey. Pimpinan sidang yang kami hormati, para penguji yang kami banggakan, baik penguji dalam maupun penguji luar, para promotor yang kami hormati, khususnya untuk penguji luar, for our external examiner, Professor Christa Kaun. I know you are in a difficult situation, but you still come up and give some question to the candidates of Ibu Dr. Dekriati Ate. So thank you so much for your coming to this session. And also for the external examiner, Professor Kohorst. You worked so hard since a couple months ago. So again, I would like to say thank you to all of your efforts and also your time and your opportunity to come to this session. Our respected promoters, our internal promoters, Professor Suendra, thank you so much for your very important questions and very insightful to us. And also special for our respected promoters, Ibu Professor Ella Nurlaila, who came up with some question as well, and it's very inspiring. Thank you, Professor Ella. And I would like also to convey my great idea to our fellow students who are with us here now in this room, and then also to our Bila family. Terima kasih juga kepada keluarga Ibu Dekriati Ate yang sudah hadir bersama kita. Jadi ini sudah dihadiri oleh beberapa orang yang luar biasa, para promotor dan juga ada tamu-tamu undangan yang terhormat, kemudian para mahasiswa yang kami banggakan, kami sayangi. Hari ini baru saja kita telah menyaksikan seorang mahasiswa doktor yang telah menyajikan dan mempertahankan disertasinya dalam ujian terbuka ini. The topik yang telah dia bawakan adalah penalaran matematis dan komunikasi matematis. Ini kemampuan yang dibawakan dalam diskusi tentang kegiatan metakognitif dan diskursif yang terjadi di dalam kegiatan belajar mengajar matematika di dalam kelas. Dia meneliti di dua sekolah yang disebut sekolah A dan sekolah B, sekolah dengan kasus A dan sekolah B dengan kasus yang kedua. Keduanya itu sangat menarik, informasi yang diberikan juga sangat menginspirasi, dan apa yang telah disampaikan oleh Ibu Dr. Dekriati Ate menunjukkan kedalaman dari apa yang telah dikuasainya selama ini. We are proud that she has delivered her defense with clarity and confidence before the examiners, in the front of the examiners, including one distinguished scholar from Germany, Professor Christa Kaun, together with our promoter, second promoter, Professor Kohors also from Germany. This achievement is a testament to her dedication and perseverance. Kami sangat bangga bahwa dia telah menyajikan pertahanan disertasinya dengan penuh kejelasan, dengan penuh kepercayaan diri di hadapan para penguji, termasuk salah seorang penguji dari luar, yaitu dari Jerman, Profesor Christa Kaun, dan tentu juga bersama-sama dengan seorang co-promotor pertama, yaitu Profesor Elmars Kohors Presenbog, yang 2-3 hari menelpon dari Osnabrück. So Professor Kohors at the time understood that Professor Kaun would not be able to come, but actually he really comes to our session. So thank you very much for your coordination and for your cooperation. Jadi ini satu perolehan, satu prestasi, saya kira yang merupakan satu testament, satu testimoni, satu bukti bagaimana dedikasi dan kesungguhan dari Ibu Dekriati Ate. To the candidates, let us remind ourselves to be grateful to God Almighty for the success granted today. Gratitude may also be extended to your parents, to your husbands, to your children, and also to our fellow students here, one shared path of learning together at this university. Pada Ibu Dekriati Ate yang tadi menjadi calon, sekarang sudah dinyatakan lulus ujian ini, saya ingin mengingatkan kita semua dan Anda sebagai seorang doktor yang baru untuk senantiasa bersyukur kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa atas keberhasilan yang telah dianugerahkan hari ini kepada Anda. Tentu wujud syukur ini juga perlu dilanjutkan kepada kedua orang tua jika masih ada, dan setahu saya masih ada. Karena saya pernah mengunjunginya beberapa waktu yang lalu di Witebula. Juga syukur ini perlu Anda lanjutkan, kembangkan, berikan kepada suami Anda, pada anak-anak Anda yang 2 itu. Dan juga pada seluruh rekan-rekan mahasiswa S3 yang hadir pada hari ini yang telah mengukir sejarah bersama kuliah di sini. Kelak nanti Anda akan kembali ke Witebula, ke Sumba, dan kehilangan situasi semua itu. Nuansa yang sudah Anda miliki, belajar bersama, berkembang bersama di sini. Anda punya pengalaman dan memori yang mungkin tidak akan pernah terlupakan sepanjang masa dengan teman-teman sekuliah ini. Bagaimana jalan-jalan di Bandung yang indah ini, bagaimana makan seblak, bagaimana makan bakso, dan makan makanan yang luar biasa lezatnya di Bandung, surganya kuliner ini. Dan itu adalah situasi yang I think it will always remind you from time to time when you come to Witebula. May the spirit of learning and working continue with unwavering confidence as the journey of scholarship does not end here. Mudah-mudahan semangat belajar dan semangat bekerja ini akan senantiasa hidup dan berlanjut dengan penuh kepercayaan diri sebagai satu perjalanan studi yang tentu saja tidak akan pernah hanya berhenti sampai di sini. On behalf of the supervisor team, I sincerely apologize for any shortcomings in words or deeds throughout the process. Atas nama tim promotor, saya Profesor Ella dan Profesor Kohors, saya mohon maaf yang sebesar-besarnya apabila ada kekeliruan dalam kata dan dalam perbuatan, terutama selama kami membimbing Anda dan studi Anda di Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia ini. Finally, we send warm greetings filled with pride to the family and colleagues in Witebula NTT who share in this joyous moment. Terakhir, izinkan saya mengirimkan salam dengan penuh kebanggaan untuk keluarga dan untuk seluruh koleha di Universitas Kristen Indonesia di Witebula, Nusa Tenggara Timur yang telah bersama menjalin kerjasama selama ini dan juga bersama dalam momen-momen kebahagiaan ini. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, the promoter, for delivering closing message or academic advice. Now we invite Dr. Agustinus Tanggudaga MPD, the Vice Rector of Unika Witebula, to deliver remarks, advice, and congratulations to Dr. Dekriati Ate. Dr. Agustinus, the time is yours.
Terima kasih Prof atas kesempatan ini. Yang saya hormati Dekan dan para pimpinan Fakultas Pendidikan, Matematika dan IPA Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, pimpinan sidang promosi Prof. Al-Jufri, para profesor, promotor, Prof. Yahya, Prof. Kohors, Prof. Ella, dan para penguji, Prof. Suhendra dan Prof. Kris Kauna, tamu undangan yang kami kasihi, keluarga dari Ibu Dekri, Dr. Dekriati Ate, Bapak dan Mama, suami dan kedua anak, saudara-saudara, Bapak Ibu yang saya kasihi. Tentu pertama-tama kita ucapkan syukur kepada Tuhan bahwa hari ini Ibu Dekri sudah melaksanakan ujian promosi doktor dan telah berhasil menjadi doktor di Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Saya, Agustinus Tanggudaga, juga merupakan alumni dari Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia tahun 2023 sebagai wakil rektor atas nama Rektor Universitas Katolik Wetebula, Dr. Wilhelmus Siapeki, SPT, MPhil, MA, ingin mengucapkan selamat dan profesiat pertama-tama kepada Dr. Dekriati AT, MPD atas pencapaian hari ini. Tentu pencapaian ini tidak mudah sesuai pengalaman kita yang belajar, namun atas pertolongan Tuhan dan dedikasi yang tinggi dan dukungan keluarga tentu saja, dan atas bimbingan para profesor di Fakultas Pendidikan Matematika dan IPA UPI, akhirnya Ibu Dekri, biasa kami panggil begitu, telah mencapai puncak dari perjuangannya hari ini. Ibu Dekri, selamat untuk pencapaian hari ini. Saya pun juga mengucapkan selamat untuk keluarga yang telah mendukung Ibu Dekri selama ini. Tidak mudah bagi Ibu Dekri meninggalkan keluarga, suami di Sumba, dan membawa anak-anak di sana, sambil mengasuh anak, sambil studi. Itu perjuangan yang tidak mudah tentu. Saya ucapkan selamat atas dukungan keluarga, support, kehadiran, dan apapun yang diberikan pada Ibu Dekri. Bagi Unika Wetebula, Ibu Dekri merupakan doktor yang ke-10 dari seluruh staf dosen yang ada di Unika. Unika ini baru berdiri tahun 2013, dan Ibu Dekri merupakan doktor yang ke-10 di antara semua teman-teman ini. Mungkin bagi sekolah-sekolah yang besar, ini jumlah kecil, tapi bagi kami merupakan sebuah tanda komitmen tentang niat untuk meningkatkan kualitas sumber daya manusia dan penelitian dan pengabdian kepada masyarakat melalui peningkatan kapasitas para tenaga pengajar. Karena itu, melalui kesempatan ini, dengan penuh terima kasih atas nama Rektor dan seluruh sivitas akademik Unika Wetebula, mengucapkan terima kasih kepada para tim promotor, Prof. Yahya, Prof. Kors, Prof. Ella, dan juga para penguji, Prof. Suhendra dan Prof. Chris Kauna. Terima kasih atas semua bimbingan yang diberikan kepada Ibu Dekri. Sebagai alumni dari Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, saya sangat percaya bahwa UPI memiliki tradisi yang kuat dalam kualitas pendidikan dan dalam bimbingan kepada mahasiswa, sehingga mencapai prestasi-prestasi yang membanggakan. Sebagai alumni, saya merasa bangga pernah berkuliah di UPI. Tentu perasaan yang sama dimiliki oleh Ibu Dekri. Karena itu, sekali lagi kepada Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, kami mengucapkan terima kasih. Dan sebagai informasi, beberapa doktor kami kuliah di UPI, dan masih ada beberapa yang sedang kuliah di UPI pada saat ini selain Dr. Dekri yang telah ujian pada hari ini. Akhirnya, sekali lagi atas nama seluruh sivitas akademik Unika Wetebula, kami mengucapkan limpah-limpah terima kasih kepada UPI, kepada FPMIPA, dan kepada para pembimbing, profesor, para penguji, para tenaga pendidik dan pendidikan yang ada, kepada semua orang yang telah mendukung Ibu Dekri. Sekali lagi, selamat kepada Ibu Dekri, selamat berbahagia. Kami menantikan kedatangan Ibu di kampus, supaya kita bersama-sama berjalan untuk meningkatkan kualitas pendidikan di kampus, sebagaimana yang kita pelajari selama kita kuliah. Demikian sapaan kami. Kemudian yang terakhir, jika ada hal-hal yang selama ini Ibu Dekri lakukan yang kurang berkenan selama studinya, selama bimbingannya, bahkan pada saat ujian ini, atas nama kampus mengucapkan mohon maaf yang sedalam-dalamnya. Demikian sambutan singkat ini. Kepada semuanya, sekali lagi kami ucapkan limpah terima kasih. Selamat kepada Ibu Dekri dan kepada kita semua. Terima kasih. Prof, saya kembalikan.
Baik, terima kasih kami sampaikan kepada Bapak Wakil Rektor atas ucapan selamat dan catatan-catatannya. We now invite Professor Elmar Kohorst Fressenberg to congratulate Dr. Dekriati Ate. Professor Elmar, the time is yours.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me the time. Ibu Dekri, my warmest congratulations to your consequent and precise work. It was not easy for you to go this way because you have been studied in the system like School A. That was your starting point in your youth, and then you make this long way so that now you are able to supervise young lecturers to change their mind and their education. I think this is a very hard, very long way, and because I know what about I am talking, I would like to congratulate as a person who can really understand the hard way you did. Now, we are all waiting that you come back to Unica, and there will wait the Research Institute Lembaga Mathematica Cognitive. You will continue as head of this institution, and from this position and this team, the influence of your work will flourish. I am really convinced that this will be the way. Again, my warmest congratulations. I cannot tell it to your two daughters. You have to translate it. They waited for a long time that they now can be here. And if they are a little bit older, then they will understand what you have done for her future, and they will be proud, and they will forget a lot of tears they had, but now we all have to explain to both of them they can be proud in a way they will understand in not many years. It will not take a long time, then they know there are reasons to be proud. Again, my warmest congratulations, and we are waiting for the next step of your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Elmar Kohorst, for your congratulations to Dr. Dekriati Ate. Now, we provide the opportunity to Dr. Dekriati Ate MPD to deliver her expressions of gratitude.
Terima kasih, Prof. Selamat siang untuk kita semua. Pertama-tama saya bersyukur kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa karena sampai dengan hari ini, mulai dari awal saya studi hingga saat ini, semuanya boleh berjalan sesuai dengan kehendaknya. Dan pada kesempatan ini, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and highest appreciation to first Professor Yaya, my supervisor. Thank you very much for all your time, patience, guidance, constructive feedback, and the many valuable experience and discussion you share with me. Even before I started my doctoral study here, you were the first lecturer I came to know because you interviewed me via Zoom. Since then, you have continued to guide and support me throughout this journey until today. I sincerely hope that we can continue working together in the future and I wish you a good health always. Second, professor cohorts, my co-supervisors, thank you very much for all your time, constructive feedback, and support. You have encouraged me to pursue research in this field. To be honest, there were times when I felt that I was not capable of doing it, but you continue to convince me that I can do it. Despite the time difference between Germany and Indonesia, you were always willing to make time and accompany me throughout this process. Ik hoffe, dass Sie bleiben Sie gesund und vielleicht können wir auch treffen, entweder in Deutschland in Sumba. Viele Grüße auch an Schwester Mathilda und Frau Kaune und auf Wiedersehen.
Ja.
Professor Ella, thank you very much for your guidance, advice, and encouragement during this thesis process. The feedback and constructive suggestions strengthen my understanding and support the completion of this thesis. Professor Suhendra and Professor Kaune, thank you very much for your feedback, insightful comments, and constructive suggestions. The Ministry of Finance of Republic Indonesia for the opportunity and support provided through LPDP scholarships, or lectures for the knowledge provided during the study. Romo Marcel Pinggalamunde, Ketua Yayasan Pendidikan Nusa Cendana, Dr. Wilhelmus Siapaki, Director, and all Civitas Academica of Universitas Katolik Vetebula, thank you very much for your trust and for giving me the opportunity to pursue my doctoral studies. Untuk Bapak dan Mama mertua, terima kasih untuk semua doa, kasih sayang, pengorbanan dan dukungan yang selalu menyertai saya sampai hari ini. Untuk suami saya, terima kasih atas kesetiaan, pengorbanan, dukungan, serta doa yang terus diberikan selama saya menempuh studi doktoral ini. Terima kasih karena selalu menguatkan saya dalam setiap proses, hingga akhirnya saya dapat menyelesaikan studi ini. Untuk anak-anak, terima kasih selalu menjadi sumber semangat, kekuatan, kebahagiaan bagi Mama selama menjalani studi ini. Maafkan Mama yang belum sepenuhnya hadir untuk kalian. Semoga suatu hari kalian memahami bahwa setiap langkah dan perjuangan ini juga Mama lakukan untuk masa depan kita bersama. Pihak sekolah, guru matematika, dan seluruh siswa yang telah berpartisipasi dalam penelitian ini, terima kasih atas kesempatan, dukungan, kerjasama, dan keterbukaan yang diberikan selama proses penelitian berlangsung. Ibu Maya dan semua tim LMK, terima kasih untuk semua dukungan dan perhatian. Terakhir, teman-teman grup pejuang dokter program studi pendidikan matematika, terima kasih untuk dukungan, kebersamaan, dan saling menguatkan selama proses studi ini. Semoga kita semua dapat segera menyelesaikan studi ini. Akhir kata, saya memohon maaf atas segala kekurangan. Thank you very much.
With praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I hereby declare that the doctoral promotion defense sessions of the Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia is officially closed. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Now we hereby invite Dr. Dekriati, ATMPD, to kindly step forward for a photograph alongside the examiners. And as for the Professor Fresenberg, we invite you to join us for the photo session virtually, and I will help the countdown. Dan juga Pak Warek bisa ikut berfoto bersama. Okay, for the first picture. 3, 2, 1. And as for the second picture, 3, 2, 1. And the last one. Bisa melesat? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you for Professor Fressenberg for joining us today. We truly appreciate your presence and look forward to seeing you again. And have a wonderful day, Professor, dan juga Pak Warek 1. Dan kemudian kami mempersilakan untuk pihak keluarga bisa berdiri di depan untuk menerima ucapan selamat dari para penguji. And now we take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to all honored guests, especially for our Professor Fressenberg, whether attending in person or virtual means, for their gracious participation and unwavering support throughout this event. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu yang telah hadir. Atas kehadirannya, terima kasih banyak. Kami tutup. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.